I have been I have been thinking about things that people never think about. And I feel that it's a new view on life at this point. And so, like, let me back up a little bit. The thumbnail on this video is because I went to the food pantry. I don't go very often, but like I've been, pushing myself for one to be out in public, and two, they always give you some type of sweets and meat. And I was like, okay. Not only that, but sometimes I just feel like that there's something to be known just by going in to different places. And so as my life is sort of resetting, I'm realizing there's a lot that I have never been part of. And it's partially because I had so much stress and I hadn't had the opportunity to really enjoy my life. And so I just want to say, first off, I'm very thankful, not only for the hands that helped me with that, but also that, uh, like the people that have not said anything that I know care about me, that I know that somewhere within my relationship with everybody I know that that you forget, you know, uh, I've been hidden away for a long time, and you forget about the little things. And so back to the thumbnail of the little video game thing, that they gave me this cookie cake, and it had a remote control as the frosting. And I was like, oh, that's, kind of cool. I don't, I've never been someone who plays video games. I've never, and to be honest with you, and this is what really makes a difference, is because I, haven't been getting out of the house. I haven't felt like safe, comfortable, or, I've just been so almost depressed state of being that, like I've and I'm like, well, if I'm going into a business, like I can, like, cuz I don't want to go to the bar. I don't want to go. I don't, like I just I wanted to go somewhere else. So I went to this little place, and they had free video games. And so, like I almost had forgot. I was just going in cuz I had never been in there. But I was looking around, and someone said, have you, seen our free video games? And I said, no. I was like, well, I went in there, and they're like, they're free. You can play as long as you want. And um I was like, cool, like I had never, ever in most of my adult life ever played any video games. So um that's what I did. I went up there, and I was looking around, and like, so this young child came up and said, I, like started the video game. And I was like, all right, cool. Like which one, and which one, like, I'm like, how do you choose your color? And, like I'm, thinking about this, like, cause I don't have any kids and I never played video games, partially because I don't know, I just never really, partially because I had never been like focused enough. It seemed like a waste of time. Just, I never had a friend that, kind of had me sit down and play games like ever. And so I am getting emotional because, like I don't know anything about video games. I don't know anything about, like this. I'm thinking about all the different people in the world that, like they play video games as part of like their whole life. Like they spend all of their time playing video games and, like, so this 3-year-old, wants to play and I'm, like, and like his mom came in and, just mentioned, thanks for playing with them. And this is thank you from India, or just hugs from India. Thanks. And like I don't have kids. There just haven't been kids you know, in my life. And like I just don't hardly even know like what kids are even all about. I just feel like I've been abandoned and that I never, got to go live my life. Raul, I'm not married, no. And like it was so fun. Like I just, but I think that one of this, and this is something cognitively that, really is important to understand is like as I've gone through some of these really difficult things, I'm thinking about like I felt like it was very violent. I'm standing there by this 3-year-old child and I'm thinking we're we're killing people. I'm like my brain is like trying to wrap around what's going on, like like, and like I had that discussion with his mom. And just realizing the gap in reality, but then also thinking about, thinking of how that emotionally, like killing the bad guy, like makes you mentally stronger. Thanks for the subscription, Valentina. For me, that I just have to, build a new family. And part of that was being strong enough to go out and know that. Knowing that I'm going to meet new people that I never developed these relationships with, people that, have been in my life knowing that it hurts that I never got to develop these relationships. Thanks, bro. And it was awesome. Like it hurts that it had to come to this, but fact of the matter being, thinking cognitively how many beatings I've taken emotionally from people, and kind of the energy that, like playing one of these simple, joystick 2-button games, in an arcade style game, even just things like that, like just considering like standing there, and I mean it makes you emotionally stronger to play these games, and just how have I missed this my whole life? Here's like part of what's left of it. Like I just I just I'm so glad that I went there, and that I'm going to develop new relationships. And yes, I can learn now. Yeah. And like that's the only, like that's all I want to look at, is that, I can build from here. So a three-year-old changed. Like it was a big deal for me. And I wanted to come in here and tell somebody else about it, because I mean, even like like I haven't played video games in the past, like ever. And so now I'm thinking that, like I was, yeah. Well, and I think the other important is that, I felt like that almost like somebody walked me up there. Like I just like something took me up there, you know? That's not somewhere I've ever went before. Like normally, like I make things like this, and like this. But I was up there, and I was thinking, like how cool would that be to be able to like looking to see if I have, oh, here, that I make things out of clay also. I've made these little donut earrings. These are made out of clay, and they're painted, and they have seed beads. And then I seal them and make them into earrings. I'm just thinking of how cool that would be to have some of these different, like I don't want to like overstep any boundaries of licensing or anything, but like how cool would that be to make some of these different characters? I try to not affect other people. I think that kind of letting life live how it is. These are Long John Donuts earrings. Some pink cake donuts. Yellow cake donuts. Hats. Yeah. I've kind of always been in this sort of capsulated state. And I hear I hear sirens. I get really stressed when I hear sirens. I get stressed whenever, for whatever reason, I'm very sensitive to some things. And Raul says, "Do you know I am botanist?" What do you do to be a botanist, Raul? I feel like I have this siren sound in my head. Like I'm really, really sensitive. Makes me nervous. I feel stressed. Do you have a favorite plant? I would love to know. Raul says, I do identity plants, naming them, and many other things related to plants. Here's a plant. What plant is this? Or do you have a favorite? Let's water it. Raul must have dropped out. I planted some herbs on my channel the other day. Got my little tray. Right here. There's 3 of these. I need to work on not being stressed about a siren. I need to realize that like the siren that I hear in my ears right now, that I have to let go. Because, like, I just had an experience that's really exciting. Maybe I should try this again. Maybe this would help with my stress. Maybe this would help. Maybe I should just trust it. Maybe I should just try it right now. I don't want to take very much. But, thinking emotionally about how some certain things that, I'm triggered. I just have to remember that that it's going to get better. I don't know how much to take. It's been a while. Let's just make it simple. It's like in between 25 and 50 mil. 25 and 50 milliliter. There's 1 ounce in the bottle, which I believe is 30 mil. 30 mil. So if I take less than half a mil, it's a really, really low dose. So that shouldn't. All right, I'll try it. I put a little bit in. That was a really good experience. I'm glad that I did that. I still have the siren in my head, the sound. You know, like the goal is to reconnect with family at some point, but like I had to make a change and I didn't want everybody to have to pay for the change. But there was a lot of damage that was happening, and I really don't think anybody wanted that. But, you know, like hearing that noise is really, you know, like it was triggered by hearing a siren. And respectfully. I just want it peacefully for it to get better. All right. Well, like this is the beginning to living the rest of my life. So, like I just need a few kind people that understand that, like life is harder for some people, but that it gets better. So, Raul, I appreciate you and all of you. I hope you enjoy your Saturday.